Since humanity discovered how to conquer the skies, aerial warfare has become a tragic and complex chapter in the history of mankind. The sky, once a symbol of freedom and hope, has now turned into a fierce battlefield. Roaring planes tear through the once peaceful air, carrying smoke, fire, and destruction. At these terrifying altitudes, pilots not only face their enemies, but must also battle their own fears and loneliness. Dangerous reconnaissance missions could determine their fate, a life and death struggle where the hope of returning safely is always fragile. So, how has the history of aerial warfare and reconnaissance missions evolved over the past 200 years? Have we truly mastered the vast skies? Join us now as we seek the answer. Aerial reconnaissance has been a crucial part of the development of military aviation technology. As early as the 1790s, France experimented with hydrogen-filled balloons to observe battlefields from above. These balloons carried two soldiers. One used a telescope while the other signaled with flags, allowing them to observe up to 50 miles in favorable conditions. This provided a significant advantage compared to the use of cavalry scouts at the time. In 1794, France established the world's first air force, named the Aerostatic Corps. Later, during the American Civil War, inventor Thaddeus Lowe convinced President Lincoln to use tethered balloons in the Union Army. The largest balloon of that era, the Intrepid, could carry 5 people and transmit information via telegraph directly from the sky. Today, with advances in technology, reconnaissance equipment and airborne weaponry have become smaller and more efficient, making aerial reconnaissance a key strategic element in modern military operations. Thanks to technological advancements, modern balloons can carry radar systems, optical sensors, and precision weapons, making them effective attack platforms from above. A medium-altitude balloon at a height of 20 kilometers can monitor an area of 750 kilometers and strike valuable targets without the need for expensive assets like aircraft or missiles. Balloons are not only significantly cheaper, costing around $200 compared to the hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars for an interceptor missile, but are also difficult to destroy. Nowadays, they often contain non-flammable helium, making them hard to bring down, even when hit by hundreds of bullets. In modern warfare, balloons can also carry UAVs to conduct reconnaissance and attacks from above, particularly effective in asymmetric conflicts where the opponent lacks advanced air defense systems. With the ability to hover in a fixed position for several days, balloons apply constant pressure, exhaust the enemy, and ensure rapid response in any situation. The English meteorologist, the Glasack, experimented with large kites to measure wind speed and attached cameras to kites for aerial photography. One of his early photographs caught the attention of U.S. Sergeant William Eddy. During the Spanish-American War in 1898, Eddy created a version of a kite-mounted camera and captured panoramic images of enemy positions, marking the first time the U.S. military used aerial surveillance via kite. From the use of primitive balloons and kites, terms like UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, began to emerge during World War I with the aerial target, a British remotely piloted aircraft used as a training target. In World War II, the British upgraded the UAV into the Queen Bee, a reusable, radio-controlled training target. The next phase witnessed the deployment of the first jet-powered UAVs, such as the Ryan Firebee during the Vietnam War, which completed over 34,000 surveillance and target detection missions. The Firebee was also used to drop leaflets behind enemy lines. Earlier in the 1950s, the CIA's Corona program utilized satellites and high-altitude aircraft to capture surveillance images from a safe distance, enhancing the effectiveness of reconnaissance missions. On March 16, 1955, the U.S. Air Force Command officially ordered the development of an advanced surveillance satellite to provide continuous monitoring of critical areas on Earth, particularly to detect threats from adversaries. At the same time, the United States and the Soviet Union were engaged in a fierce space race, not only to conquer the moon, but also to deploy surveillance satellites. In the late 1950s, the U.S. Air Force launched the Discoverer program, which secretly served as the spy project, Project Corona. In 1960, Corona satellites sent back the first images from Soviet territory, providing valuable intelligence during the Cold War. Another milestone was the introduction of the KH-9 hexagon spy satellite, capable of capturing objects smaller than 2 feet from a distance of 100 miles. Before the advent of digital imaging, the KH-9 released its film back to Earth via parachutes, which were retrieved mid-air by U.S. Air Force jet aircraft over Hawaii. Surveillance satellites and reconnaissance aircraft played a crucial role in helping the U.S. detect Soviet nuclear activities in Cuba. However, by the late 1980s, the Soviet Union's new air defense systems made it increasingly challenging for leading U.S. bombers such as the B-52H, B-1B, and F-111 to carry out attacks. The Soviet Air Force once possessed two advanced heavy interceptor aircraft, the MiG-31 and the MiG-25PD. Notably, the MiG-31 was the first aircraft in the world equipped with a phased-array radar and the active radar-guided R-33 missile. Along with the long-range S-300 air defense system, these weapons made it difficult for American aircraft to penetrate Soviet air defenses. However, when the U.S. introduced the F-117 with stealth technology, although it could still be detected by long-wave radar at close range, it managed to bypass defenses and strike critical targets. Initially, the F-117 was designed to carry the B-57 and B-61 nuclear bombs, with its cockpit optimized for stealth and penetration of enemy defenses. The F-117 relied on accurate intelligence about Soviet air defense positions and detailed planning to avoid threats. The role of intelligence in military operations is crucial, not only for balloons or reconnaissance aircraft, but also for satellites. The United States began developing military communication satellites in the 1960s, with the first system, the Defense Satellite Communications System, DSCS, being deployed in 1966. This system was first used during the Vietnam War, when reconnaissance images and data were quickly transmitted. By 1971, the DSCS, Defense Satellite Communications System, emerged, offering higher security and improved communication with ground equipment. Today, the U.S. military has developed the Wideband Global Satcom (WGS) satellite network. The first two satellites of this system were launched in 2007, providing broad communication coverage, especially in the Pacific region. 2 years later, the second WGS satellite was launched into orbit, expanding communication coverage to the Middle East and Central Asia. Each WGS satellite is capable of digital channeling, enhancing connectivity and communication flexibility for the U.S. military and international partners. A single WGS satellite provides greater SATCOM capacity than the entire old DSCS system. Today, more than 200 years after surveillance was first conducted using balloons, modern satellites have adopted artificial intelligence, AI, to analyze and organize images. When this data is transmitted back to ground stations, AI compares the new images with existing databases, detecting changes such as new constructions or unusual activities. Advanced AI technology, like the AI chip from the European Space Agency, ESA, also helps filter out unnecessary images, such as those obscured by clouds, saving time for military analysts. We've just explored the journey of over 200 years of aerial surveillance technology. Which technology impressed you the most, and do you think they will continue to evolve in the future? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Goodbye, and see you next time.